I said, no, if you want to do something, do it. Find a way to do it, because anyone that's done anything great or mentionable, they have the idea and they followed through in some form or fashion. And that's kind of where some people get stopped, because they have the idea and then, well, no, I'm such a hothead like that, Michelle. I get the idea and I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Michelle's Seat at the Table is a podcast about leadership, community, and the conversations that shape us. This is a space for those navigating the complexities of leading teams and building communities. So whether you're finding your voice, building a team, or simply looking for a place where you belong, there's a seat here for you. Pull up a chair and join me, your host, Michelle Radney, at the table. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Chef Angie. I'm so excited to see you. Thank you for taking the time, and welcome to my table.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so exciting. So I started this podcast, and it, as you know, is called Michelle's Seat at the Table. And it's a little bit of a play on my boardroom experience, my love for food and for cooking and for wine, all things that bring people to the table. And it's a platform and a community for us to have honest conversations about leadership, our experiences, our journeys, and the things that shape and change who we are and who we've become. And so when I started this, I was like, I would love to have Chef Angie. Before I get too far in, why don't you tell the listeners, the audience, a little bit about you and who you are and your passion as a chef?
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you again for having me, and kudos to you, because so often we can have these ideas, and I have tons of them. They keep me up at night, and I think that's good. But it's even better to get the ideas from here and here to here out in the world. So kudos to you for doing that. And I'm super proud of you. And so a little bit about me. My name is Angie. My business is called Creative Cooks. And I started this business, it's about 17 years ago now, upon a life-changing event. I was going through a divorce and raising 3 kids. I know cooking healed me. And it was a way for me to connect with my own 3 children. Because when you cook, as you know, Michelle, you're connecting, you're talking, conversations come across as you're casually making a meal. So I thought, if it could make me feel this way, I think I could share it with other individuals, particularly children, and it could make them not only learn life skills, but feel more confident, feel more included.
Yeah.
And also maybe meet a friend or be exposed to different culture, foods, or recipes. So that's how Creative Cooks was born, out of the need for me to have a desire to not only be able to support my kids, but to stay connected with my kids and other children around the table or around the kitchen counter. And just go back. I started out of my home, Bergen County home. So I started with my neighbor's kids. My 20-year-old now, she was maybe 7. She made handmade flyers. I'm talking, this is the level of how I included my kids. Like, they were homemade, like, flyers, right?
I love that.
Creative Cooks class, 2 hours, $25,
chef hat,
everything. Like, we really thought of everything. And then she was passing these out on the down low at the Wyckoff School on the playground to the kids. And I got, 7 kids or so, basically my girlfriend's kids and neighbors, to come. And we did that first class, and I loved it. They made a huge mess in my house and my kitchen, and I didn't care. I said,
no,
not on purpose. It was, I always tell my cooking. Now I'm like, we can clean it. We can clean it. Don't be afraid. Yeah. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. And I mean that not only just in the kitchen. Like, we can't be afraid to get our hands dirty. So from that first class, the kids loved it. The parents loved it. My kids loved it. I loved it. And I said, I'm on to something. And I just kept going, and I kept asking. And one school led to another school, to a church, to a preschool, to senior citizens, to communities
The
everywhere.
love.
And it was just word of mouth, and it was me asking and not being afraid to hear no, which I don't want to make this sound like a dream because it wasn't easy, but you'll be surprised. You don't get that many no's
When you ask.
when you ask.
You have to ask. Well, listen, I was so thrilled when I asked you to be a guest, and I was reading my text and I said to David, Chef Angie said yes. And he was like, of course she said yes. So for a little bit more background, we met because one of my daughters, I think probably both of them at first, but one of them, Morgan, had such a love for cooking, and she was one of your students for several years. And that's how we became close and worked with you, and I followed your career. And you know, it's the thing about this podcast, and the name and the title of it is also just what I love, right? I figured if I'm going to put my voice out there and do something that I'm passionate about, it's going to be topics and guests and things that I love. One other thing, I have your cookbook.
Oh, I had it
And-
too, just in case.
Yes. Join my table. And so that also for me was instrumental in like how I thought about our conversation. And when I started reading your cookbook, so I love it, by the way,
Thank you.
and I learned so much about the recipes and your journey, but I felt like I was reading your story. It reads like a biography and a
Yes.
cookbook. What inspired you to even write a cookbook?
Well, I always wanted to write a cookbook. That was always the goal. And I had been invited out to lunches and Zoom calls back in early 2006, 7, 8,
Yeah.
especially after doing the amateur cooking competition on the Rachael Ray show.
Yes.
So I was sought after, and I was wined and dined, and publishers would say, "Oh, we want, we're interested in you. You're interesting, but this, you need that. You need a YouTube platform. We need to see food videos from you, content." And this was before TikTok. Okay.
Okay.
So now
before
it's
social
really-
media was really
Right.
booming.
So it's really serious now. But so I just kind of said, okay, I am raising 3 small kids, and I have to stay on top of them because always, first and foremost, it was always my kids. Like
right.
I was a Girl Scout leader, a den mom. I wanted to get them after school. Like it was always them. And so fast forward about 2019, my father passed suddenly. And at that point I said, you know what? Not going to wait. I'm not, no more saying, next year or this year, I'm going to make a bunch of TikTok videos and make my platform blow up. And then I'll get I said, no, if you want to do something, do it. Find a way to do it, because anyone that's done anything great or mentionable, they had the idea and they followed through in some form or fashion. And that's kind of where some people get stopped, because they have the idea and then, well, no, I'm such a hothead like that, Michelle. I get the idea and I'm like, no, I'm going to do it.
There's
I'm gonna do
always
it.
going to be an obstacle, right? There's always going to be somebody who says no. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't think you can do it. And quite honestly, based on what you and I have experienced and what I know about you, it's when the people think that you can or they underestimate you is when you really turn up the heat, if you will.
I almost encourage you to underestimate me, because I'm an Aries and it lights a fire in me that you cannot imagine. Like, so
That's
so
right.
that's how the cookbook started. And I said, you know what? I need to get the funds to do it right. I wanted to leave a legacy. I wanted a hard-covered book. I wanted beautiful photography.
It's beautiful.
I mean, I wanted it to look like a real cookbook. So I, sought after the top. I had a designer. I sought after a photographer that had worked with Food and Wine, and she was actually on a leave. So it wasn't a conflict of interest. Now, how am I going to pay all of these people? Okay. Well, I decided to run a Kickstarter crowdsourcing campaign. And I thought, if I could get, even 100 people to back this book, I can make it. 100 people? Whew, I probably raised a little over 40 grand.
Good for you. Good for you.
Pre-selling the books. So not asking for a hand,
Yeah.
right? Not asking, gimme, but I was saying, I'm going to produce this. You're going to just prepay to help
Yep.
me do it. And you're going to be listed in the back as a contributor.
Yes.
And
I
it
remember the community rallying around
yes,
this cookbook.
yes. Your name's in the back. And so I'm getting chills talking about it right now, Michelle, because I feel like if you really strongly believe in something and you come with a honest heart and you give people your heart, you
Yes.
give them honesty, you give them something kind of that lights their fire, makes them excited. I know there's a lot of bad in the world and we hear all these things, but there's more good than bad.
Yeah.
And I still believe that people care for others. And
Yeah.
that's how I did it.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In my corporate career, I have been very competitive. And I know that you have a competitive side as well, and that you've competed on cooking shows. So I am really fascinated, and people who know me know I love cooking competitions. I don't enjoy just a cooking show where it's a set and it's, here's all these beautiful things and we set a great table and then it shows the picture of this great food, because I know it's been 8 hours and there's lots of people. I like, you have a mystery basket. You've got 25 minutes. Go and let me see what you can do. Like, I like where it's really the grit and resilience. Tell us about some of the competitions you've been on, but what it's like to work under such extreme pressure, because whether you're in the kitchen or in a corporate world, or if you're an entrepreneur and running your own business, there's a lot of pressure that comes with the responsibility. So tell us a little bit about that.
Competing with food is like, this is how it goes. My kids, my cooking students, and then chef competitions. Like, those are my three jams right there. And those three things get me excited. They wake me up in the morning. They keep me up at night. And so my first competition was an amateur cooking competition on the Rachael Ray daytime show. And so she was looking for chefs across the country. The title of the series was called, Hey, You Cook? Prove It. And so literally a fellow mom and girlfriend had seen the daytime show and said, you should apply. So I applied, I got on, ended up being a runner-up. Gordon Ramsay was my final judge. And so I was happy with that experience and I wanted more. And then I heard from Food Network. They said, would you want to compete for Chopped? And I was like, me? Sure.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yes. So 2009, I returned back to TV to tape Chopped. I went up against 3 male executive chefs. And why I state 3 male executive chefs, because keep in mind, Michelle, at this point, I'm not classically trained. My background is education, but I basically was just cooking with my grandma, my aunties, and my kids. So when they said, do this, we want you, I was like, okay, if they think I can do it, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
And so I dropped off my 3 kids who were like elementary age at one of my girlfriend neighbors' house the night before, because I had to be in Queens. I believe they were taping Chopped at the time. Crack of dawn, like 4:35 in the morning was our end time for set. I did not, spoiler alert, it's many years later, I got Chopped, but second, not first.
There you go.
And I remember the male chefs backstage after the appetizer first round. They were all looking at me because at the beginning of the morning, they were like,
who is this lady?
You teach kids how to cook? You could feel it. It was like, and I said, you know what? You are not going to get in my spirit. You're not going to get under my skin, because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, after we did the first round, they're cleaning up or whatever before they chopped the first person. And they were all looking at me like, oh, we got to watch you. She came to play. And so then when I didn't go home first, I was like, whoo, thank you, Lord.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord. But I went home second, and it's okay. And then after Chopped, so many doors opened up. I mean, I can't even tell you. It was like that one appearance on Chopped. It was left and right. I was asked I did a commercial where I played a judge for Chopped. Shared a trailer with Ted Allen. I was like, as he was getting his makeup done, I was getting mine done. And I said, Do you remember
Hey,
telling
Ted.
me? I was like, hey, Ted, do you remember telling me that I was chopped like a year or so ago? And he was like, no, I don't. We
He's like,
laughed.
there's so many people that come
Yeah,
through.
he was
But
like, it was
how
funny.
cool, what an amazing
Yeah.
experience that has got to
So it's
be.
been great. And then, I guess most recently I've done Supermarket Stakeout with Alex Guarnaschelli. And there was like 2 or 3 seasons of Jeff Mauro, the Sandwich King. He had a
Yeah.
show called Kitchen Crash, where you ran down neighborhoods and you crashed people's kitchens and cooked in the street. So those two were the latest reality shows, 2022, 2023. And yeah, I won those. So I'm getting better.
There you are. Listen, just to be invited to participate, right,
Yes.
is a big deal. Well,
Yes.
that's very exciting. I love
Yes.
it. One of the things that I've been asking people about is just around defining moments and leadership. I imagine for you being in the kitchen, whether you're with kids or you're in a restaurant kitchen, and in life, there are defining moments. Can you tell us about a defining moment for you and how that shaped how you show up today as Chef Angie?
Defining moment. I would have to say, honestly, I feel like I'm experiencing something divine every day. Like every day I could come up against a challenge, but then how you handle the challenge. So it could be where, I'm trying to organize a catering and I'm at my ghost kitchen that I rent a kitchen to prep. And this particular time, a month or so ago, showed up at the kitchen with a lot of things to prep. I'm talking, I probably was an 80-person dinner party and the power was out. Yes, the power was out. And I'm thinking, I can't show up to the client's house with like bags of onions and potatoes and start chopping. I'd be at their house for 9 hours. Like that's not acceptable. So thought quickly. I had a girlfriend who has a really big, beautiful house. And we ended up like just shifting gears and
Taking
making
over.
it work and then heading to the clients with prep somewhat done. So another thing that has happened to me before is where I had one kitchen that I was renting and then this particular facility said, we're no longer, renting to you because we have a full-time person now. So you're kind of sporadic. And I'm like, what? I have like planned cooking camps and I said, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there. So my thing has always been talk to everyone. Don't beg. Don't be like, oh, I need a kitchen. Just say, you know what, Michelle, how are you? Really listen to what you say back to me and then say, I'm in the market for a rental kitchen, a ghost kitchen. I'm keeping my eyes. And then you might say, oh,
Do
you know what? Yes. And that's how it happens. But people are afraid. I'm going to tell you 2 things they're afraid of. Sometimes hard work and talking to people.
Yes. Listen, and what you just described, which will be another episode on Michelle's Seat at the Table, is about networking. The power of the networking and what that means. And so what you just said, right? Sometimes that people might be afraid to go up to someone and introduce themselves or to ask, do you have a connection? I am interested in X. Can you refer me to someone? There are a lot of businesses that thrive on a network and referrals, and you've got to have the courage to be able to have that conversation. Well, I have some I call them rapid fire, but the answers aren't necessarily rapid fire, but a few questions that I want to ask you. This is a fun conversation, but to get to know you a little bit more.
Okay.
Are you currently binge watching anything?
I have to be honest.
Yes?
I only watch food shows.
Me too. Are you
So
binge watching a food show?
I have watched all of With Love, Megan with Love.
Yes. I haven't watched it.
Michelle.
I'm going to watch it.
It's something, you know what?
Oh, I'm going to
To
watch
be
it.
honest with you, I started watching it because she was getting so much hate. And so I'm the type that I've always been like that. Even in high school, I never thought I was better than anyone else. And I know that no one else is better than me because I'm human to human. And so when I was hearing all these things like, the Megan. I said, let me watch it. You know, everybody's putting her down. Let me check it out. And it's actually very soothing, calming. She gives great tips. I feel like she's doing no harm. You know, people
Okay.
want to complain. And I'm like, she's doing no harm. Like, what is it? I say that a lot to parents. They'll be like, oh, are they doing harm? Well, no, they just, you know, they want to put their own jam on the biscuit, or they want to make their own peanut butter sandwich in the morning.
It's fine.
Are they doing any harm?
Let it be. There are some things, that's what I've learned. One of the lessons for me in life and in leadership and how I show up is being flexible, and being a parent taught me more about being flexible and adaptable. And I brought all of those things into my corporate career as well.
Which I'm just going to say it because you're a powerhouse. Like, I follow you on social media too. And I'm like, why? I'm like, where is she flying to now? Where? She's in Hong Kong, and what's she doing? And she was.
I've spent so many hours on planes, but I've had a great career.
And
Thank you.
Raising two
Thank you.
outstanding human beings, females at the same time. Like,
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
I appreciate that so much. I'll take the flowers. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to switch back to you now.
Okay.
This is probably, well, maybe a hard one for you. What's your favorite meal or type of food?
I would say anything seafood, and I really love Thai food because I don't make it as much. Anything else, I go out, I enjoy it, but I'm like, oh, I can make that.
Yes. Okay.
But I don't really dabble a lot in Asian cuisine. I can, because I always say if you can read, you can cook, right? Because we have, even if you don't, I own like 500 cookbooks, just saying. But even if you don't have a lot of yes, I collect them. Because I read them as if how I wrote my cookbook, I read them and you get to know the author and the stories behind the recipes. But the thing about it is we have the access of internet now. So if I'm thinking about like, you know, I want to make bang bang chicken or whatever, bang bang shrimp, you Google and there it is.
Teaches you.
Yes.
And step by step, and the video to go with it.
And video to go with it. So there's no excuse. There's really no excuse not to cook.
I completely agree. For a vacation, do you prefer the beach, the mountains, or city vacations?
Definitely the beach. Although I am a Florida girl, born and raised, but I do not get in the water. I just
In
like
Florida or just in general?
Anywhere. I just want to see the water. I don't want to actually be in it. So I got stung by a jellyfish in Miami years ago. But I have recently taken up aqua aerobics. So I get in the pool 3 times a week.
Good for you.
Well, I feel like you never should stop learning, because if you stop learning, you're done. And I don't want to be done. But I would definitely say a beach, looking at water.
Okay. And are you an early bird or night owl?
Early bird. Do not reach out to me after 8:30. I just cannot function. Can't.
PM.
PM, I do not. And in the wintertime, it's even earlier, because once it gets dark, I don't like it. I will meet you anywhere from 4:30 in the morning on. Anywhere, anytime. Like, I love getting up early. And my father was like that. He would rise at 3:30. I could smell bacon growing up. So I think that's kind of in my blood.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you again for joining me at the table. But before I let you go, can you please tell the audience how to follow you, find you, where they can buy your book? I will put it in the show notes as well. But for those that are listening, tell us how to find you.
So you can find me on Instagram. It's Chef Angie Shaghaghi. You'll have to put that in the notes.
I will put it in the notes.
One. And or The Creative Cook. And also I'm on Facebook, The Creative Cook. I'm on TikTok. But yes, so it's Angie Shaghaghi, or Chef Angie Shaghaghi, and The Creative Cook. And I have a website. It's creative-cooks.com. The book is currently sold out, but I am working on getting it back on Amazon, and also a digital version of it. So, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I love that. Well, congratulations. And so I'll show once again for those that are watching join my table. Sold out, but we will keep you
I
posted.
love all your
on my notes, my little.
I love it. I love it.
The chapters, the stories. I just, I feel like we can go on and on. I've enjoyed it so much, and in preparation for this conversation, I found a few things. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that one. One that I haven't tried that I'm going to do that I found in your book is the bacon wrapped chicken thigh.
Stop. Hands down, that's a crowd favorite. So please.
I'll take a picture of it. I'll give you credit when I make it. My daughter Taylor says, you love chicken and you always make chicken. I'm like, it's so versatile. I can make anything when it comes to, a good piece of chicken.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Let me know.
I will. Thank you. And thank you again so much for being on Michelle's Seat at the Table. And until next time, stay well.
You stay well. Thank you. Cheers. Bravo to you. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You're paving the way.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Michelle's Seat at the Table. I'm so glad you pulled up a chair today. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with a friend or a colleague. Invite them to the table. There's always room. Also, remember to hit the follow or subscribe button, and please give us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. I'm Michelle Radney. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and making room for others at the table.